Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blend and smooth, like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another episode, another stream. You know where you're at. Spartan SU Network. We are at Operation Hangout. What is going on, everybody? We're having a decent weekend yet, I hope. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Oh, great. Stay out of trouble. Hopefully stay out of trouble. But my partner in crime, the little thing he is, he doesn't stay out of trouble, unfortunately. He likes getting in a lot of trouble. Can't get him out of trouble. So let's get him in here right now. Of course, we're talking about Teddy Bear Groot. Yogi, camera on. You know my rules.
I know the rules. When the rule is, I am bear paw. Nothing little about me. I'm 6 foot tall.
I make the
And then,
rules as I go.
yeah, you don't sound like Trump now. Yeah. There you go. Now,
Now go brush your teeth. You breath stinks.
no. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? This is Bear Paw, aka Black David, aka the tall guy.
Oh God,
I
yeah,
know.
bro,
I'm
you're only a couple feet more taller than me. You're not like I'm a couple inches. You're not like you're making it sound
I'm
like you're like 6 feet
I'm
tall.
I am 6 feet tall.
Yeah, a couple inches from me, but you're not like 20 feet tall like that. Oh, hey, how are you?
No, I'm 6 feet. If I was 7 feet, then there'd be a problem. I'm calling myself Bear Paw. I'm calling myself giraffe. Put it up.
You look like a giraffe a little bit.
Anyone 7 feet and up, you call them giraffe. 'Cause you know you're looking up. They got long necks. I like my meaty, thick neck. Anything longer than this, then I had to do something to hide it. You don't even know the people who have long neck do all type of things to distract it. Some put a bunch of tattoo so you won't notice it. I'm like, dude, you know you got a long neck. All that tattoo is not necessary.
You're an idiot.
I'm how am I an idiot? I'm being dead honest. I said a lot of people with long neck do all type of extra to hide the long neck. I'm like, God damn, they must be a long neck stigma. Hmm. I'm glad my neck is not that long. It was long. I would have done the same thing too. I would have done.
Eric, what is going on, my man? I hope you're sharing this stream with your fan zone, buddy. This is gonna be a good one.
Oh, I'm
So,
raising the banner for cloud. I'm on the cloud side. I'm sorry, aka PlayStation, the
as
game
much
gangster.
as much I want to agree with you. That's the funny part. I want to agree with you, but I can't for one simple reason. It's okay. So I want to go with my backstory. Then I'll let you. You're gonna have the floor for a minute after that. Okay, here's the backstory with me with Link and Zelda. I never was really a fan of any of them as a kid. I got into them in '64. I was a teenager when I got into Zelda. And FYI, I have a woman kid, a girl that looks like Zelda actually in my job. So I nicknamed her Zelda. Anyway, so I got into it Ocarina of Time. That's what to me, it is rated as one of the number one best games ever. I think it's 9.9 out of 10. That's no other game ever got that score. So Zelda, that's what I then I got into GameCube. As much as that system was unrated, that had some really good games. Let's be honest here, guys. The Twilight Princess, great fucking game. You don't think so, David? For what? Okay, from the we'll get there. I'll get into the argument in a minute. Because I'm gonna fuck you up tonight. I know that already. So just keep shaking your fucking ass. I always had a button like one of my buttons. It comes over and slaps you every time you shake your head. Oh,
Don't worry, I'll get one for myself.
my
I'll get one for myself. And when I click the button, all you hear is shook it, and you see it to get knocked up out in the ceiling. No problem.
I love my buttons. I love my buttons.
Glock, Glock.
Anyway, you can't like a Kamakama way, you know. Anyway, so I didn't really get into. I got into Final Fantasy X, but obviously everybody knows Final Fantasy X. The story always changes. That's one thing I never got really into Final Fantasy as much. I got into 10, and that's the only one I really played till a year ago, and I played the remake of Final Fantasy VII, right, David?
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually a good fucking game. I did watch the cartoons, the anime, whatever you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it. Are the cartoons or anime, David? The Final Fantasy ones. The Spirits of Child. That's an anime.
The fifth, no, that was not the original. It's all Avet Children.
Whatever. Is it an anime or is it a cartoon?
It's animated, but it's CGI.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want to know. So I got great character, great everything. Got really into it last year. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good face off. They both have similarities in only different ways. So now I was wondering, like, they went to head or head. Who's gonna win?
Mm-mm. It's not gonna be easy. Let me tell you why. As a PlayStation hardcore fan, I'm sure everybody who remember the game war between PlayStation, between Nintendo, between
And Xbox.
Atari, and then you have Xbox. Right?
Uh,
There's one.
Correction,
I,
David. I'm correcting one thing. That war, it was first PlayStation. I'm sorry, Nintendo, Sega,
yes,
and
I
Atari.
know.
Then it changed.
I left Sega out because Sega kind of like kicked the bucket.
They were smart.
They were smart, but they were like, "Oh, that's not for us. This is now the game that was selling heavy on PlayStation was Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII was one of the heaviest played games. I remember we go to our friend's crib or my cousin's crib, and they were playing Final Fantasy. All took turns to play with the rule. If you die, pass the controller rule kind of thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you grew up in that type of era, you know the deal. Ain't no hogging a controller. You die, you die. Pass it over, pass it over. You get a little kitty ass fight. No, I didn't die. He distracted me. Oh, I didn't die. This come on. We all know the excuse that someone you know made when they screwed up. They don't want to pass the controller. They want a harder controller. They want to get a second chance. We don't do second chance. If there's five, six of us, pass the controller. Less than one try. Then you get into all the unnecessary fight. But Final Fantasy is one that game that people sit down and play for hours. No disrespect. That's one of the OG games. I know on the Nintendo side, Zelda, Link, that was the thing for people who have the N64, who got the GameCube, who did from the Super Nintendo ever when they have the. I never played Zelda when I had a Super Nintendo. I was more of Street Fighter,
Yeah,
two
you were in
player
different games back
football.
in the day. There's nothing wrong with
I would,
that.
I know, but Zelda would never caught my. I feel like, oh no. When I heard about Final Fantasy, I said I need to get on the PlayStation side, and I
And Eric has
did.
a good point here, by the way.
It might be noted that Link had additional battle experience. You want to bring it back up again?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it's not just Link. Cloud is also there.
Was he in the game? I don't remember him in there.
Yes, Cloud is also. My assistant made it clear when we were looking down.
I don't remember him in there.
Notable appearance: Final Fantasy VII, 1997. Final Fantasy VII: Advent Children, the movie, 2005. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, 2007. Final Fantasy VII Remake, 2020 ongoing. Kingdom Hearts series, it showed up. The CF Final Fantasy, it just showed. And Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U onwards. So both Link and
We
Cloud
you said?
from the Wii U and onwards.
Okay, that makes sense. Why? Because we you after that's why I don't remember because I stopped playing Smash Brothers after the GameCube because I didn't the Wii to me Wii and Wii U it was a horrible system, in my opinion.
And
Opinion.
hit it and it hit it in Smash and Super Smash Bros. Both Link and Cloud is on the system, which is kind of obvious. They had a vendetta between both sides. The same thing, Solid Snake for Metal Gear Solid is also on that game too. And Solid Snake is for what game console? If you ever think about it, PlayStation.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
about original was Nintendo, I think, at one point.
No,
In,
Metal Gear
in
Solid
Japan, it was at least. It
Japan.
was called Metal Gear at the time only.
No, I looked it up. And Metal Gear was more of a PlayStation's release. It wasn't a Nintendo release.
No, one time it was actually. I mean, there
I'll,
was
I'll
only
look. I'll look it up.
overseas.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
doing it right
I
now. I'm
will
doing
look
it
it
right
up
now. Go ahead, keep going.
because the thing is, when you saw that, I was like, interesting. So that lot game character from other game system to come join the Super Smash Bros. rivalry. I was like, well, I can see why it's one of the most popular games because out here in Brooklyn, New York, you got a bunch of game stores that do competition for Super Smash Bros. The pot money was one time was 500 and up to 1,000. So yeah, they go in dirty. I'm talking about people are paying the entry fee for the competition. They going in and being recorded. Oh no, I missed out because first and foremost I wasn't prepared for that. I had to learn how to play Smash Bros. I didn't play that as much like other fighting games because through Smash Bros. You don't want to mess up and lose your entry money. You going into competition, you going in to win. Oh, it
Thank
was
you,
for
David.
Nintendo. I
I
didn't
was
even
right.
realize that. I didn't realize, but somehow PlayStation got the right to it, and
That was after the companies change rights all the time, bro.
I realized. But the producer of that game, he was heavy on the PlayStation side. Then before he got done dirty, and he cut tie with him, and I like that producer. So thank you Eric for that. But I'll be honest though, Link Cloud was one of those type of game characters that he stand out different from all the other Final Fantasy characters. He was the go-to guy. He fought with the Juggernaut Sephiroth. Sephiroth would do with that long ass samurai sword, which is almost pulling your damn body. Who had the one wing? He like the one wing angel. And you see some of the battle they had, it was ridiculous. And the fact when they did the remake, if you play the original version is classic. It's long term. It's like you play that game, and they had different versions of that game where you can play like you're fighting. like a team based on the characters, which were cool. That game was not only heavily played but also heavily sold. But the fact they did the remake even looked even better. I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. I'm not gonna lie, I love the remake. I never got a chance to purchase it because for one, yo, they bucked the price. They get the collector.
Actually, if you time it correctly, you can get it for free.
Yeah, to
Like I did.
The PlayStation Play Store. If you can get it for free or at a discount price, I know you gotta wait for that right timing. I know. I've been checking the price like a damn hawk. I end up becoming a vulture and just waiting. Come on, you can drop that price just a
But if
little
you want
bit
to play
lower.
the add-on stories or DLCs, you have to buy the full version. If you just want to go straight through for regular, you can
I
get it
know. Trust me. You gotta know that I'm one of those hawks or vulture on the PlayStation club discount. I'm waiting for it to drop. I'm like, come on, just drop a little bit lower, just a little bit lower.
All
If
right,
you
I
get
want to go
caught
back
with
for
the
okay. I
price,
think I want to go backtrack 1 second from what you said. So Metal Gear was on the NS, Super Nintendo, like Eric said. So it was Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. Then when PlayStation came out, Metal Gear Solid 1 came out. Then PS2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Metal Gear
mhm,
Solid 3, Snake Eater. That is a great game. We can all agree on that, I think. Metal
mhm.
Gear Peace Walker. I don't remember what Peace Walker was about. And then it was Metal Gear Ground Zero. That was okay game. And four, the Metal Gear 4. Again, all these were a good game. All right, guys, let's get Wally in here really fast. Let's hit
Uh-oh.
his favorite intro.
That's your favorite intro.
No, it's not. This is my favorite intro.
This is Sparta!
Indeed.
What happened?
No, that was not my favorite intro.
Don't worry, I'll get my own soundboard so I can play my own sound. You hear the bear screaming, or you hear a bear punching.
Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, finish your sentence. So we're gonna get Wally in next. Go ahead.
My thing is, looking at Cloud as a character, I think he became the poster child for that franchise. There was other series in
You
that
think
franchise.
he
He
was?
he he, he was a standout character. It's like there's something about him that made him different from every other character they had in Final Fantasy.
Mhm.
He had that soulless stone, not there look, but his backstory make you want to gravitate to him much closer. Like, yo, this he went through a lot, yo. He really something else. Like you have to have pity for him and this and that. And again, his weapons, I was I'm glad it makes everything now. He had the Buster sword, the sword like it's almost how would I say it? It's not that gut sword, it's almost similar to that sword, but a Mobile 2 Gundam sword copied them. Without even think about it.
I'm gonna push back. I don't think the
No,
Gundams.
let me tell you why. The term seven sword. The Buster sword is actually seven sword in one.
No, I'm not arguing that part. I'm arguing it's not a Gundam sword. That's one thing.
No, a Gundam copied the term of seven swords from them.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But the one series called Mobile 2 Gundam 00, they were doing that seven sword thing.
Yeah, the double O.
Bingo. So I was like, the reason why Cloud is a big deal. The stuff he does. He had the ultimate weapon, he had the apocalypse, he had the what again?
All right,
The hard death dodge.
let's keep second. Hold on your thought for a second. Let's go back. Let's get Wally in here. Wally, what's your opinion?
What now happened?
What's your opinion about Cloud versus Link?
Link.
So, just your open opinion.
My open opinion.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay. Well, hold on a moment. I can get on here. What's going on, Eric? So my opening opinion. So without saying anything about any standpoints or anything else of that nature, again, for who I'm more familiar with, I'm familiar amongst Final Fantasy. You already know who that is. More than that, anything else. Not saying I don't know of who of Legend of Zelda, but haven't played the games. That's just gonna be my standpoint on that. But as far as with the amounts of research that I've done, And for the lack of thereof, where I will be arguing both sides, because again, I'm really just again, I'm more of having a clear, definitive winner, not really being biased. I don't have bias in me. I don't believe in that. So yeah, so just throw this out there without saying anything yet. As far as the level of swordsman between these two characters, Link will walk away with this at the end of the day. You have your mouth shut and you're surprised, but I will make the argument stand once we get into it. Again, this is not my bias. I may have known only one character, but again, with the research, this is not my bias. This is just what it is.
For once, me and Wadi are agreeing on something.
I'm never biased in arguments.
I am.
I make clear arguments.
All
I had to
right.
give him. Wow.
So you had to make a comment. I want to see your feedback on it, David. You said Twilight Princess wasn't that good a game.
At the time it came out, I wasn't too much heavy on that side, on the Nintendo side of things. Right?
That's
It
a different
wasn't.
story then.
That's it. I never paid much attention. I felt like the game wasn't attracted to the type of thing I'm into. You had the what Gundu, come on, the James Bond game. Yes, I played that a lot on Nintendo. You had the Super Mario Brothers. Yes, I played that a lot. Some of the franchise they have there. There's certain games I lost interest in. The Legend of Zelda was one of them. I don't know why. I wasn't feeling it. But when you start to jump on the PlayStation side of things, see some of the lineup, and I was able to play Final Fantasy on there, it caught my attention big time because the mechanic behind there, the game engine, it was very tempting. It was like you want to build your character strong enough so you don't get wiped clean by the opponent, aka the boss. And later on, as you continue to play other Final Fantasy games, you start to realize there's a way you can play this game, prepare your character so that whatever the hit you give from the final boss of each stage, you don't feel it. But when you beat their head, it'll make it easier because you have to build your character over the period of time. They teach you how to play a certain stage, build the strength of your character, build your weapon of your character, do all these extra stuff. That was the thing. So I wouldn't go and say, oh, it wasn't what got my in. It's almost a blueprint for later game like now to Call of Duty. Well, Diablo is one of them that took the same type of game mechanic behind it, whereby you build your character. World of Warcraft was doing the same type of fundamental. There's other game behind it that copies that same fundamental of you're going through stages, you're going through different maps. You're building your team, you're building your character, you're building your weapon, you're building their strength. You have to raise their ability before you go to the final boss or that particular stage before you go to another area. That's what the gameplay that became very popular today's time. Now, Cloud, I was very into because he was more like a loner. He was more like he feel like he didn't get attached to anybody. If he get attached to anybody, someone would get hurt. He had that type persona because he was a soldier. He was traumatized based on a particular comrade who went AWOL, aka Stepper, who thinks as if he was the angel of death. And the battle they had, it was ridiculous. I never seen a game where you have a sadistic character and you got a loner character and you're like opposite of one another, and it kind of gets you intrigued, but the fight stuff behind it, it was cool. I never got the chance to play Super Smash Bros. To use Cloud. I played other characters. There was F-Zero characters in the game as well, which was kind of funny. There was more Star Fox characters in there as well, which was cool to play with. But I never used to play.
You know why I'm a little surprised? I'm sorry to cut you off, David. I'm a little surprised the Wii had Cloud in because that's a PlayStation um IP. All right.
I know.
Hang on, let me finish. All the Smash Brothers, and please, Wally, if I'm wrong, please jump in any moment and cut me off. If all the Smash Brothers characters are Nintendo's IPs,
You said say that one more time.
isn't all the characters who play in the Smash Brothers, Mario, Zelda, and so on, owning Nintendo's IPs. That's why they call it.
Yeah, that's why you'd never see Legend of Zelda on PlayStation.
So how the hell? I never
At
played.
least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I never saw Smash Brothers Wii version had Cloud in it. I never played that version. I wouldn't know. If you, that's what Dave was saying. At least
I
There-
believe they do have it, if I'm not
It,
mistaken.
it was a fan request thing going on because remember Super Smash Bros. Is the game where you get all different type of cards that people love. Get into the fighting game. Somehow the creator of that game was looking to the people. But oh, why not put Solid Cloud in the game? Why not put Cloud
Sonic
in the game?
I can see making a deal with
So,
Sonic because Sega does not make any systems anymore, so they have no really real serious competition because
but
Sega
they
works
put
for Nintendo now.
I know, but at the same time they'll put in other characters.
Yes, he was in there.
What was in
They
there?
had to,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wonder how much. I'm
Cloud
just
was
curious
there.
how much Sony asked for the.
because Cloud, yeah, he was in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
As well as Solid Snake. No Solid Snake ended up becoming a permanent
He's
franchise.
also a DCL fighter. A DLC fighter in the Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS.
I'll take your word for it, guys, because that's news to me.
So
Because I
remember,
thought the point of Smash Brothers only have Nintendo IPs.
I was thinking the same thing too. But when people start to see that, they start to look into it. And the spokesperson for the Super Smash Bros. Production, they mentioned they were based on a fan base suggestion.
Hmm.
You know, when they had those fan base back then, they have the link or where you go to and you put your request. What kind do you want to see next in the next edition? And those who are hardcore Final Fantasy game players, they mentioned to put Cloud and put Sephiroth in it. Cloud and Sephiroth, they want both in there.
I know those are two main characters everybody talks about.
And
Like
then
the
later on, Solid Snake. I was like, what does Solid got to do with that? He ended up showing up in there. I was like, that's weird. Then sooner or later, they want to go a little further. They want to add Street Fighter characters in there. And I felt that that's overreaching.
Street Fighter. I think the Smash Brothers. Excuse me, Smash Brothers is not what we grew up on anymore. But let's
It's
get back
not
to the
the
original
same.
conversation. Let me ask you
I
guys a
know.
question really
Go ahead.
fast. I'll have you go first, David. If both of these guys went head to head, 1-on-1, no magic powers, who do you think is going to win the battle? Remember, no magic powers. And
No
Cloud's
magic
most
powers.
his power, a lot of his power are his magic, versus Link. He doesn't. He uses less magic.
That's the dilemma because
I
Cloud
mean,
without
it's hard,
magic,
isn't
no,
it?
Cloud without magic, he did have some real physical strength. Let's be real.
I'm not denying that one bit.
So I can't really say. And
Yes,
I
you
don't
can. You
know
just
too
don't
much.
want
I
to.
don't know too much about Link and Zelda. So I don't want to make it seem like Cloud will win anything hands down because there's a unique type of strength that Cloud had that sometimes it didn't make no sense that he still has it.
Mm-hmm.
But when he had to go against Sephiroth, he had to use the Machina at the booth just to match up with him. Because Sephiroth was like, according to Wally, extremely juicy. That's what it is. And Sephiroth was a OP broken character that if you're not on the same level with him, you're not gonna beat him. And Cloud had to do the unforbidden thing. He had to juice too, or something close to that, just to get a level playing field. Remember, they are like super soldiers. Were built onto something that is, I can't say similar to Captain America, but I doubt Captain America is stealing an idea from games, which I'm not going to say that either. But without magic, I don't know. I
Cloud
don't
might
want to
have
be.
the upper hand on this one.
I don't want to be biased. I say, oh, Cloud will win a hand down. He may have an advantage, maybe 10, 20%. I don't know.
I think Cloud might have the upper hand because he's military trained for combat, and Link is self-taught in actual combat. But again, even the question is, are you going to say is Cloud actually had actual combat or just training? That can change the whole conversation now.
That's what I'm pointing out. This is the guy is the ex-soldier. When you're a soldier in the military and you've been thrown out to fight many battles, and your friend risks himself to save your behind because you were so much alone, or you were just throw yourself into a fight,
Hmm.
your battle experience it adds up over time. And you said yourself, Link was never in the military. He was self-taught. So what can you do self-taught compared to someone who have been in multiple battles? When I mentioned 10, 20% edge over Link. Any character you know in any game system that person was part of the military or part of a particular force and has been battle tested, you cannot look down their battle skills. Just can't.
Hmm.
And to
But we got
against someone who's self-taught, like I don't say it's an oxymoron, but how many self-taught people are able to keep up with someone who is military trained?
that's a hard, clash here. It can go either way because you have Cloud who actually has training, but we don't know if he actually ever used it in real combat at that point when he's fighting Link.
Hmm.
So that's a question mark on him. Now Link he's self-taught because he went through all these, trials. Is he gonna fight Cloud before the trials or after the trials? That's where it all falls down to at the end of the day. Wally, you're up. What you got, man?
First and foremost, to the question of magic, well, what a fight without magic. So if they were to fight without any sort of magic or spells or anything of that contingency, then I would say the upper hand would then go to Cloud. Honestly, it just goes that way because he just has so much raw power at this point without magic. So you have to look at both of those two. Without it, honestly, he just like literally, Link is just effed because let's be honest, one, most of his powers and his abilities allow him to be long range, whereas Cloud on the other end is front force in your grill all day, every day. Yeah, you ain't gonna beat that. You ain't gonna beat that. Now, granted, remember you also said no magic. His shield is magic, so that's also a byproduct right there, in a sense of you're definitely losing as a sword of swords combat fighter. So yeah, no.
Are we talking about who's magic shield? Clouds or Link's?
Only one person has a shield.
You got a right point.
Link.
I didn't know that was magic. I thought it was just
Yes, go look it up. It's magic. That shield alone will protect him for a long time. It's
So
magic.
what? So without magic, you're saying Cloud will sun Link, bitch
It's
slap him,
devastatingly.
dog walk him, mollywop him.
You got brute power versus a knight that's learned how to be a more of a technical fighter, because that's what Link is. Link is a technical guy. Cloud, on the other hand, is an aggressive, raw, striking guy. So knowing that you don't have no way to literally be in distance with no powers and you're always up straight, you're pretty much screwed. And a shield with no power, eventually you have to question, does that get breakable?
And no magic. Question: how much slap will we taking in?
He has a good point here because if you play any Zelda game, any other shield you get besides the one shield, always breaks. Thinking about what I'm saying. Every shield Link has in the game, it says one, breaks as over time.
Because I'll even go further, right? If you want to think about this from a standpoint of a lot of this, hold on. So understand this. Think about this right here, right? Without magic, here is Link's weaknesses. Loses his primary range attacks options, right? Which means he can't be long distance. Loses all formidable defensive spells, right? Doesn't has that, and has in his healing options become limited to food and potions, that sorts and everything else. He loses those, right? This is Link's. I'm sorry, this is Cloud. Sorry about that. Let me see where did I put those? have them saved somewhere. Oh, okay, here it is. So without magic, loses all Mortura based offensive spells, healing spells, and buffs. Can't summon. That's it. That's it. So you're both. So pretty much both of these are pretty much equal, except for one small tangent of summoning and then one small tangent of some other stuff. But other than that, without magic, again, you're pretty much screwed. Link is screwed. He's screwed. He's a walking vessel for what's the word? Carving the frick up.
I think you want to say the other word. I was about to say, what are you going to say?
No.
Like,
I was thinking
flip.
about carving. I was thinking about carving.
I was
It's
gonna
nice.
say,
It's nice. They make characters in Chinese food.
But yeah.
All right.
Without magic,
Link,
that's the idea.
Eric says Link in Ocarina of Time had a backup trick that reviewed him if he
revive him.
went to zero death. He has a good point there. That was enough to help me beat Kangor in the final boss. Okay, he doesn't have a good point here, but that's nasty again.
That's my point. So it don't matter.
But that's magic. But that's magic.
Yeah, because the little elves you used to collect in the jars, if you went down to zero life, it comes up and brings you back to life.
Yeah, but Cloud doesn't have none of that. This is a soldier who fighting gigantic beasts scales. These beasts was like wrecking town, etc. Then he had to deal with a almost broken Sephiron who is extremely juicing. I forget juicing. He was baiting in that sauce. And the whole platoon cannot keep up with the guy. And you have to somewhat force yourself to juice because if you juice, you'll not be human no more. You'll be somewhat on the same level as Sephiron. So think about that. Cloud had adversary that I'm not even sure Link want to go to the same mess Cloud was going to do. Like, you play the game, you see the side of these beasts, they towering. You like all they gotta do is swap you out of the air. Am I wrong, Wally?
I mean, no, he definitely fought some huge beasts.
So which one I will give an upper hand to Link for one reason. In the game category, not comparison, Link does have more games. Hands down. You can't argue that.
Well, I'll say this: he definitely has more solo games because Final Fantasy was a multitude of a storyline. So,
Yeah, solo games I'm talking about, of course.
But on the Japanese lineup on Japan, there were a couple of other solo games for Cloud that was not made known in the US, that I found out afterwards on the PlayStation side of things. So you can imagine how the popularity that guy had over there. That's why I was saying when you come to, if you ever go do another game console war again, you need to start asking which console will have a huge lineup outside the US. And that would be the discussion to make.
well,
So-
it's obviously going to be pretty much Sony's because who Sony's under. Microsoft actually owns Xbox, aka America, so that's common sense.
And that there you go.
Here's my pushback on that. Xbox is already it's like the rumor coming around is not official yet that Xbox may make one more system and that's it, and they won't make games after that. So they might tap out. They lose a lot of money making the systems, believe it or not.
They don't have a lot of games.
Not only Xbox, even PlayStation, bro, has more games. Nintendo too. They lose thousands of dollars a month.
Here's the problem. There's so much a library on Sony's side when it comes to PlayStation. The question is, what game is allowed to be sold in the US that's all in Japan?
I'm
And
not arguing that, David, but I'm saying
But
go ahead.
I mean, I just find it very hard to believe like they're losing thousands of dollars on this, especially when you be seeing Walmart's barely don't even have these things, or the Targets or wherever else you can buy these. It's like, come on, you're losing thousands of dollars making these things. It's like, who are you really trying to? I mean, no, but seriously though, who are you really trying to sell though? I mean, granted, people think, okay, let's be honest. I just want a system that works. Who gives a fuck what it looks like? Ooh,
agree on that,
neutral
too.
sticks. Who cares? Like
I
in
will
Xbox,
only-
it's pretty much your freaking computer. Who cares? I mean, granted, yes, you can customize and do your own thing. Yeah, by all means, but I mean, you only customize it because why? Because again, because if you buy a stationary, it's locked in to a particular, and then you have to buy the other stuff. At least when you customize it, at least you have it the way you want to have it, and then you do whatever. And I guess they look at that and they say, okay, well maybe we have to screw stuff. No, not really. You just gotta sell me the damn thing and just give me it with a decent storage. Like, who cares? Like, bro, you know how simple it was playing PlayStation? I have a memory card and that's it. And I save everything in one memory card.
And later on, PlayStation 2, you can add a hard drive at the bottom. Oh, I put a hard drive in?
You could have done it in PlayStation 1 too, in the back.
To the degree, yeah, in PlayStation 1, but PlayStation 2 made it much easier to add a hard drive. PlayStation 1 was a little complicated. PlayStation 2 made it easier. PlayStation 3, oh, you can swap out the hard drive. The most you can put in the hard drive is up to 4 terabytes.
So I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, again, if you're going for the over the exaggeration looking factor, fine. But even then, the only honestly, what station that PlayStation 3 had that was sleek? Okay, the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 3 was the sleekest one they had at the best. But even then, it's okay, just nice and sleek. Xbox countered that same thing, went from bulky to sleek. Then it was the Xbox 360 sleek black version, and that was really nice. But you didn't need to go that
Until
far.
until you had a ring of death issue that everybody thought that was a joke. Ring of death. Like how many
Hey, but
times?
it's just a computer like anything else, so I'm not surprised.
And I hate to say it, I feel like people compare to the Xbox. Every time I gotta buy another Xbox, I gotta ring of death. I'm like, why you keep buying Xbox knowing that some people die on you?
See, I was always a big PlayStation fan. Straight up, not gonna bullshit it, right? I had a PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. I had them all at one point. I had a couple of Xboxes in the middle. I bought the Xbox One. Got rid of it in a week. Didn't see the point of it. I had every game that was on a PlayStation 2 was on Xbox. Then I couldn't get myself a PS3 at a time, but I was able to get an Xbox 360. I got it. I never got a Death Ring, but I didn't play it as much. I played my PlayStation 3 when I got it.
You forced it to get the ring of death. That's why you were saying clear. You're like, let me just take it easy. I don't want to.
Well, I never got
No,
the Ring
no,
of
no,
Death
no.
either, but I played it a lot. So
Yeah, I played a decent amount, but most of the games I liked was on PlayStation. So I ended up getting a series. Same reason I couldn't get a PS5. I got what I got, and I ended up breaking even when I sold it. To be honest with you guys, I sold it to a buddy of mine. He just gave me whatever I bought it for. It's not a bad system overall. If you really think about it, but there's no good exclusive games for it. That's what surprises me.
And that was the issue behind it because someone like me who like to play those type of character play stage, like you have Legend of, no, not Legend of, what is this? Soul Weaver, that vampire game from the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 game era. You have, besides Final Fantasy, there's a lot of storyline games that they have a unique storyline and make you play for hours. It's not just fighting games like Call of Duty.
Eric, have fun trying to do that.
All right,
Literally,
he had a good point. We gotta get back on topic. All right.
And I'm glad Eric did that. He was like, really?
truthfully,
We
Eric.
do need to do a show Xbox versus PlayStation very soon. That's not even a question.
What for what?
But the thing is, Cloud, now that they did the reboot of Cloud on Final Fantasy VII, I'm showing people now seeing why he became iconic for what it is. Because the reboot, if you look at the original version and compared to the reboot, that is a huge, massive difference. The gameplay is different. It feels better. You feel like you will be immersed in the game much longer than expected. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, everyone that played Final Fantasy game, you don't play it under one day. You play that game almost for weeks upon months. To be quite honest, anyone I know who ever played that game, they'll say, Oh, I played the game in 3 months. I took a long route. I want to rush it through. I want to make sure I be on top of the food chain kind of thing. That game had you playing for hours, unless it was the Gear of War game. That's the ultimate breakup game. You want to shut the girlfriend off? Then I'm playing Gear of War. Bye. As most guys did back then. But yeah, well, Final Fantasy game. Yeah, you playing long term game. You playing for months. You trying to get for every unlocked stage, and look for every hidden stage. You trying to beat every beast. You trying to be on the top of the food. Final Fantasy X was the same way too. I had to play that game for almost 4 months straight. You know they didn't have Cloud in it, but Cloud's a much better character to play with than any other character they had in. Because he was very flexible, he was very versatile. His moves were more interesting than it wasn't feeling simpish. I gotta say, some character feeling like a simp. I don't like playing simping characters. They call it out. So it's a much big difference. But now when you compare with the Cloud and Link and Wally is saying swordsmanship, the first thing came to mind, the only way he did say that is because of the amount of asset magic in the play. So I'm thinking that's on the edge that I hate to say that Link got over Cloud. Without all that asset magic, the guy the punk.
Well, no, that's not really what I based that off of. That's one thing for sure.
Okay, now I'll look into your
Again, we
argument.
talked about magic. I never said nothing else. I said in the overall,
Hmm.
I said Link was better because of certain factors.
I'm gonna
But without
I'm going to
magic,
listen.
then I said what? I said Cloud was better. I never went deep into the whole idea of their swordsmanship though.
Okay.
All right, let's have that conversation. Who do you think is better swordsmanship then? Wally?
Oh, I mean, let's see. Hold on, because let me go to my notes. So, all right. Well, this is some notes I took down, and then this is where it goes down from here. Right. So, talking about Link, right? Link's swordsmanship is highly skilled, often incorporating defensive maneuvers like parrying and strategic positioning. He is disciplined and can exploit weaknesses. His ability to use sword beams and powerful spin attacks give him good area of effect and range options. But this is Cloud's. Cloud's swordsmanship is characterized as raw power and speed. He wields oversized swords with incredible force, capable of cleaving through multiple foes. His Punisher mode and limit breaks showcase immense offensive potential. So, who has the edge based upon those two statements? The edge in swordsmanship alone goes to Cloud. And this is based upon this statement right here. While Link is highly skilled and adaptable swordsman, Cloud's sheer strength, speed, and destructive power of his branded swords attacks give him an edge in direct sword-to-sword combat, which technically I've already explained before earlier without magic. So yeah, he can hit harder and move faster in close quarters, which I also explained on that earlier before as well.
And again, his sword is seven sword in one. So he can make you block one sword, pull out another sword out of that sword, hit you. It's like, how can people are putting with the speed that don't make no sense? And he come up with seven different swords, and all seven swords come together under one sword. He's a freak of nature if you think about it.
I know he's freaking nature. But like I said, I did said who's win at the overall though. So
Yeah, you did say
we're
that
just
overall.
we're just hitting points here.
I know you did say that.
But
And
you also gotta consider one thing with about Link and Cloud. It's came to my mind. One can literally have a kick-ass battle on a motorcycle. One can only have a semi fight on a horse.
motorcycle is always better than a horse. What the hell?
Yeah, I know that, David. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Cloud.
Wait, we saying the motorcycle better than the horse?
I'm saying a motorcycle is better than a horse. Yeah.
in combat.
Yeah.
So okay.
I mean, hear your feedback.
Wally.
You okay? Again, one, you want to be very mindful of again, the driver is the driver, but let's be real about one key component here. Sorry, always fudgling words. But if you think motorcycles versus a horse, okay, all right, hey, look, you got artificial horsepower and then you got real horsepower. That's fine. Pick your shot where you want to pick it.
Mhm.
But again, we're talking about two people with different abilities, different skill sets, and everything else, and you want to think, okay, motorcycle and horse.
Wally, I hate you.
I mean, last time I checked, there's a horse in this motorcycle without a ramp. How a motorcycle jumping up? I'm
I
just
hate
saying.
you.
I'm saying. How's a motorcycle jumping up? You just swerving after you're trying to make a turn, which can be your fatal flaw.
Okay, but the horse can't even jump over that either.
I mean, again, but notice what I'm saying. I'm saying a horse has a little bit more mobility as far as being agile to move and jump up. A motorcycle does not. It's grounded. Granted, yes, a horse does eventually got to move and turn back the same way like a motorcycle does. That's the only thing that's similar. But my thing is at that point, let's be honest, understanding both these two characters and what they can do with full power, full strength, no hellbacks. Again, who's at that leisure of winning? Link is.
Wally.
And I'm not biased. I don't do the bias.
I know.
Is- is-
One day me will be in the studio. We'll have an audience watching it, and you will be acting fool up in here.
I already did that already. But the thing is, even then, I still stick to the argument.
I know.
So,
But again, let's be clear. Cloud motorcycle is not a regular motorcycle if you think about it.
I'm not saying it was.
Okay.
But again, if it still moves on the same prohibitance, again, no. We're not
Mechanics,
doing
mechanics, end of the day. You know, they can't change.
I mean, let's be honest. Unless he's riding a Batman style motorcycle where that thing turns into a spinning hoverboard, like no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
You see what he did? You see what he did right now? You gotta be a Batman style bat. You see
Hey,
what I'm saying?
Batman, Power Rangers, they did it too. Power Rangers did the hoverboard bike too.
You see what he doing right now?
Hey, I'm just being honest. Ladies
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
I think we both all.
this is why I bump head with Waddle on our show a lot.
So I think we can all agree. Cloud has a raw power, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Link is more
Technical.
bust and technical, but gear-wise, both have their own gear. Who do you think has the upper hand?
In gear.
Really?
I mean, look, I
Eric?
very much just look at this pick and choose, so I don't know.
You see what Eric just said it now?
I hate him.
I gets hit with a Dooku nut in the eye enough to distract. Oh, you can't be sick. You know, Eric, I don't got time.
You're sick, bro. You're fucking sick in it. You guys calling me fucking sick and weird.
It's your fault, Barton. You started this thing from the very get-go. So, yeah.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this started from our first episode of Anime Unlocked. It was Sparta and Eric getting weird in the chat. He gave doorway for Eric weirdness, so I blame it on Sparta.
No, you can't blame me for shit. I was weird before this show started.
Whoa. We talk about anime and cartoons. Who bought a high take? Was it not you?
What did I say? Remind me again. No, I'm serious. Remind me. I don't remember. It's been like what, 80
You see this,
episodes
Wally?
ago.
You see this, Wally?
No, what happened?
Remember when you talk about our first show about Anime Unlocked? Talk about anime versus cartoon, and him and Eric were going crazy in the chat. We'll talk about height. We'll talk about the other version of anime we're not supposed to talk about.
Oh,
And he opened his mouth.
hentai.
Who started the weirdness? in the
Was
chat?
that the first one? Was that the second one?
First one?
No, I thought it was like further down. It wasn't the first one. It was like 5-6 episodes in. That happened.
No, it was the first episode. It was the first
I don't remember.
episode.
It wasn't.
I remember
It
all
wasn't
that
the
now.
first one.
I remember you started that mess.
Hold up. Wait a minute now. I remember all that. I do remember it was like towards the beginning, but not. Yeah, you sure it was? Okay, yeah. You sure it wasn't the second one? Yeah, it was the
No.
cartoon and anime version.
Second or third? That wasn't the first one. I tell you, it wasn't the first one.
No, it wasn't that because Dragon Ball was too much for you to be pulling up anti.
It was the first one. He did it on the first one. I remember. I cannot forget that. I was like,
It was the second or third one. It
you
was.
and Eric were going weird in the chat. I had to chastise you guys, and you kept on going with it. You kept on egging it. That's why Eric is getting weird because of you. You opened the door, and Eric came through the door. Oh, I can come into this door.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
I love my buttons.
I know you do. You the
He said, "You call it weird. I call it legally green." Man,
see what I'm saying? All courtesy
oh
of the sponsor. Blame it
all
on
right,
every time Eric
all
gets
right.
weird.
Let's continue with the original question. Gear wise, who do you think have the upper edge?
Gear wise,
Yeah, gear wise.
I'll be honest right now. If you want to grade the weaponry, looking at
I put
cloud
my money on
weaponry,
Link already.
looking at cloud weaponry, I can say it's not something you'll find any other weapon people will have. To have a sword that break up into 7 different swords. I watch enough kung fu movies. I never come across anything like that. Let's be real with you. I've seen a person who can control 7 sword or 8 sword sort of thing that are in a box. They're different sword, different style, different look. I get that
Mhm.
part. But to have one sword that break up into 7 different swords, like that is freaking unusual. To me, I find like in swordmanship, I find like that's a cheat because it's almost like saying you get into a sword fight with somebody out of nowhere, boom, I pull out another sword out of that sword. The person is left off guard. Like, what the hell is going on? You're attacking with 2 swords. Now, if you like Zoro, One Piece, you pull out another sword out of that sword, make it 3. Like, dude, Cloud fought with all 7 swords with his speed, and that's like a giving an unfair advantage. You got the weaponry and gear. I don't think any other game or genre you ever think of that someone have that type of leverage, having 7 sword built in one, and you could take that sword apart and run amok, doing people dirty. And you had the speed and the power to go along with it. No, let let's put that in perspective because I've seen a lot of sword fights, but never a sword fight whereby you caught off guard. You know, they put this, you thought this person only have one sword, but that one sword is actually 7 swords in one. How you talking about a sword fight? And plus, his sword is big like gut swords. If you think about it.
Hmm.
So let's be honest though. How do a person show up to a fight not knowing that the person you're fighting with, you think the person only got one sword, but it turned out to be 7 swords in one. So as the fight progresses, you see some maneuver he do and the sword pop out of the sword itself. You want to get thrown off guard, like what you expect? And the guy's speed, it's almost as if he got 7 hands, but he don't got 7 hands, just that he moved quick with all 7 swords. In swordsmanship, that it don't make no sense.
But he only has his swords. What other weapons does he have?
Oh no, he has no. Well, you talking about Cloud or Link?
Cloud.
Oh no, Cloud got more than just the sword, but he just only angling the sword,
And
What
that's
other gear
what
does he have, Wally?
huh?
What other gear does he have?
Well, hold on, let me get on here so I can. All right, so with my notes, real quick. Hold on, let me get to hit Cloud. So, other than the Buster sword that David is only idolizing right now at this point, he also had armor. He also had accessories. He also had of course, the mana system, but I think the mana system is something more prohibited within his soldier genetics.
Hmm.
But I guess it's what they would call a gear per se within Cloud's core. Like, that's what they would say that is a surprise me as a gear. I don't know what the heck that also
So
means, but
I look at
it's
weapon
amongst other
skills.
things that pays tribute to it. But
Weapon
yeah, he
skills
does has those.
is Buster Sword. The second one is Apocalypse. Third one is Ultimate Weapons, and the fourth one is the Hard Del Judge. I don't know what Ultimate Weapon is, but I know the sword part more. I've always been fascinated by the sword play he has.
Well,
Apocalypse
yeah.
and Ultimate Weapon. I think this one had to do with his military, what they use. Remember, he considered to be one of the best soldiers, besides his friend who sacrificed himself just to hold off Sephiroth. But we know the character of Sephiroth in the game. Sephiroth was a almost a completely OP broken character. This guy had a sword longer than a 6 foot person individual, and that sword it looked it's worse than a than a Green Reaper weapon. And where that thing bent and it curved, you want to imagine someone with that speed and power throwing that sword. You can slash what 1, 2, 3, 4 people in a row, easy, one time. You have to think about it. You put up his his rivalry, Sephiroth. Look at his weaponry. He only had one sword. That sword was not a normal sword to begin with. So imagine finding someone who's so broken, who's so juiced up, he'll walk in destruction.
But the Master Sword has his is the Master Sword or Time Sword? Which one is it called? Link's sword.
Huh?
Link's sword is it Master Sword or Time Sword? I always get those
Master
confused.
Sword.
Master Sword, it has its own abilities and powers too.
Yeah, it did.
They keep that in mind, David. Like everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he had 7 swords. It's a big sword." Cloud, and I'm not disagreeing on that what you're saying, but the Master Sword has its own powers too. The reason it's
It
called the
does.
Master Sword.
I get that.
Well, no, I mean, for me, the argument, because again, you speak on the argument as far as gear. I'm only hearing one part. That's why I'm like, is this all we're gonna keep on mentioning? Just one sword?
No, no.
Because that's not
I
the
was
only
going to bring up
gear.
next was the hook shot Link had, the bow and arrow, the bombs, the different masks he had to wear or gear or suits for different elements.
Well,
Sorry.
no, I know. Yeah, I know of Link with his research. I was just talking about as far as for Cloud, because I mean, we only heard about a sword, but I mean, look, let me step in. So, other than the pronouncedly known Buster Sword that Cloud has, he has armor with embraces and bangles. These actually help out with defensive stats to make sure he's very well guarded in battle. The mana slot. This also helps with the mana slots like weapons, armors
Mhm.
often have a Martura slots, allowing for a defensive Martura that's elements Martura like linked to armor for resistance per se. Also accessories like ribbons, power waste, etc. So this status effect immunities and resistance, and then also stat boosters that increases attacks, his defense, his HP, etc., etc. Right? And of course, like I said, the Mertura system, which goes into different formalities. So there is a magic Mertura, which is green, that allows him to cast spells like fire, ice, thunder, cure, barrier, haste, region, holy, ultima, cosmic, etc. Right? Command Matura, that's yellow, that adds new commands to the battle menu. Okay, yeah, steel and all this other stuff. Support Matura, blue, modify other Maturas when linked. All Maturas make a spell hits all targets. So basically an AoE effect. Elemental adds elemental damage to attacks and or resists to armor. Independent Mature, which is purple, provides passive stat boosts and affects HP up, MP up, luck up, and counterattacks. Summon Mature, which is red, allows summoning of powerful mythical beast. Oh my gosh, I forget about this. With for devastating attacks. So yeah, definitely, Cloud has way more in the tank than just a mere sword across the board.
Magical wise, yes, not denying that one bit. Everything you
Right.
mentioned is mostly magic, except the guard bracelets is metal, but he doesn't have any like a bow and arrow, for example, or hook shot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, I'm gonna go into that part as far as for Link, but the only prerequisite, because this is the only thing I somewhat like. This is like a sort of a knock, because it's sort of like, yeah, yeah, no, not, I keep saying sort of like, but honestly, it is sort of a knock, because when you really think about the Buster Sword, is one big sword, but even though it can split into seven, it's not like each sword has a special ability, each prohibited to themselves, as far as I know of. So that's sort of like a, I mean, it's impressive that you can wield seven swords into one, but you really can't do nothing separate with each one of them as a separate skill set, which would have been nicer. But that's just one small pre caveat. I mean, granted, there is some other things that he could do. It just like, I guess, like depending on certain abilities, give or take. But other than that, really nothing much. But yeah, but going on to Link, of course, with his gear, he has the Master Sword, of course. It does high effect damage to evil doers and all that stuff. Of course, he got the Sword Beam, um, the indestructible or recharging, time manipulation, fusion. I'm sorry, fusing when it comes to materials to increase power or durability. Of course, he has his shield, which is indestructible. Um, yeah, magic reflection, and then high defense. Right, that of course that gives him what it is. Bow and arrow, of course, for an extra sense of long range. These bow and arrows can also prohibit effects. I mean, elemental effects like fire, ice, electric, light, crowd control, and environmental puzzles. Also have bomb arrows. Shout out to well, not Green Arrow, but you can say Green Arrow. But I was thinking Hawkeye, pretty much. Ancient arrows, which are instantly, yeah, they're like some this type of. Well, they're not from bosses, but I know they're like for like sort of like decent everyday enemies, like but they destroy something like instant destroy. So pretty banger. What else? Boots. So his Pegasus boots give him like super speed and agility amongst dashing. So which gives him that ability to be way more faster. Iron boots or the hover boots. Pacific. Sorry, inventor. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when you speak to them all. For Pacific environmental travelers, sinking water or floating. What the world? Flame breaker armor. What the? Okay, grants fire resistance and immunity. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty much he was able to wear that armor and then going to volcano side, a volcano and not burn up alive.
Okay, and then the Zora armor enhance him swimming and water breathing abilities. Okay, nice. Going into like the magical artifacts or utilities, of course, bombs he had, hook shot with the claw shot. But those are really for hooking for movements. I mean, that's really not really for combating. But then again, I mean, if you're really clever, I guess there is ways to use that in combat. So I can see.
Actually, in the game, at least according to time and Twilight Princess, you had to use that weapon, not as a piece of gear, as a weapon too to defeat a enemy. I can't remember which enemy it was. But before I move on, Eric, you're a sick bastard.
It could
Yes,
be
the comment I
classified
put up.
as cheating, but Link could trick Cloud into accidentally killing a chicken, in which they go, Hank, what the? Okay, you know what, Eric? I'm gonna leave you alone to your devices.
In the game, if you kill one chicken, all the chickens come attacking you at once. So that's what he's talking about. Yeah, it's a weird thing in the game. Don't ask.
Okay, so other than that, he has also a boomerang, which can stun enemies. I doubt that was stun Cloud though, really. But okay.
I'm sorry. Time out. So you telling me Link can get not a posse, not a platoon, but a mob of chicken
Yep.
to do cloud?
Yes.
I mean, even if he got a chicken, most of these heads will be cut off in one swell swoop. What are we talking about?
Doesn't it sound like a chicken flick commercial?
Did you say chicken head commercial?
Chicken flick
Oh, I
commercial.
think the chicken
The
head.
wrong chick flick.
You get attacked by chickens.
No, those are not the type of chickens I want to be attacked by. Okay. Yeah, and plus he has so much more. There's so much more he has in the tank, as far as the different stuff that he has overall. But I mean, look, as far as the argument as who has better gear, honestly, it's really 50-50.
You know what? You might have to send a request to Death Battle so they can do their simulation.
Actually, it is one out there.
There's one out there. And who won?
About 10 minutes long, actually.
And who won?
I didn't watch the whole thing because I didn't have time. I was getting ready for the
Now,
show.
after this show, I'm gonna watch and see what they say. If they say Cloud win, I'm gonna put a lot of argument on the comment on this thing unheard of. I was like, who's they?
I don't tend to like when people do it though, because they're sort of sketchy.
Well, I can play the 3-minute version of it if you guys want to watch that really fast.
Let's cut aside the 3-minute version because let's be real. Death Battle have been a thing where you have an issue with characters and want to compare tail of the tape whatsoever, and you line up what they can do, what cannot do, stuff like that. Because, like I said, I'm looking at Cloud, and I have to agree with while they say Link gonna win it, but something behind me keeps telling me, why? What did that Link can do that Cloud can't do?
Again, long range quarters, sir. Yeah, you're gonna be wasting your time trying to come forward when he can keep moving around. He can keep distance. That's the whole point. Now, granted, yes, I'm not saying that Cloud does not have elemental power. It's just the same, but again, there's a little bit of a tap. Okay, hold on. Let me go check because Lord have mercy.
Because
this arguments keep on going. This is like a taboo.
I know. I'm more on the Cloud fan
As
base.
you're looking out, I'm gonna play this video really fast. All right.
And I will talk along with him, so I don't want to get no copyright strike because you got to criticize this.
Yeah, that's what I read. You have to talk as you're doing the video. You get copyright strike.
Now, think about it. That's a big ass motorcycle.
Someone else with a motorcycle.
Pause it. Hold on. Time out. We were arguing back and forth about Link got a horse compared to Cloud motorcycle. Ladies and gentlemen, in the argument, Cloud had a big, bulky, manly-like, not feminine-like, manly-like motorcycle. And the person that pulled up right behind him was none other than Link with a motorcycle. Not a pony.
A dirt bike, actually, to get technical.
And see, he tried to lower it down by saying, "Not a pony." Shame on you.
Not a pony.
Okay,
See what I'm saying? The
Not a donkey. Not a horse.
Really, a donkey.
But a dirt bike. I'm
A
sorry.
donkey.
I'm crapping on the Link party right now. Y'all talk about this horse, that. I didn't see no pony. I didn't see no donkey. Yeehaw.
Of course you didn't. It's a death bike video.
No, that I see a horse. He got a dirt bike.
I'm playing tactical, playing cavalry.
Oh, bullshit.
What was that? I don't remember that shit. Come on.
Pause it. What the hell was that?
Which one?
What you mean? What the hell was that? That was an arrow.
That was the arrow?
The first one, I wasn't sure what the hell that was. He shot something out of his hands. I'm not sure what it
He
was.
shot something out of
Wait,
his
who are
hand.
you talking about?
Link.
Go back to which one you're talking about. Go ahead. Go back to it.
Go back.
Because when you said shot out of his hand, the shot out of his hand was actually Cloud.
You mean the first one was Cloud with the lightning.
Yeah.
I blew up his dirt bike.
Right, he shot the-
right
Pun
there.
intended.
That.
Okay, no, that was okay. That's one of his like little magical stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember that for some reason.
Magic, right?
Hold on. Let me try to see if I can find what that particularly
We're
is.
gonna criticize the hell of this video. I could care what anybody say because where I'm looking at right now, they were talking horse bullshit.
So I would believe that is the Shinkike slate. That would so it has magnetism. So notice how it had it in the air. I'm guessing that's what that would be because it had it in the air for a moment and then he hit into it and then Cloud hit into it.
Okay, I get that. I get that part. So carry on.
Right, because that's what he was able to move it around. So yeah, that was the magnetism.
I know. Yeah, I
Sierra.
don't remember that right.
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse you. Stop playing the fucking pots.
You can't be fucking serious.
Hold on.
The spin attack is pretty powerful when you think about it.
Time.
Time stop. Yeah, I remember that.
Hold on. Pause it.
Go ahead.
You talk about swordmanship, right? He had the shield. Ladies and gentlemen, one whack from Cloud's shield send that guy back multiple meters.
True, but that doesn't mean they're gonna break it.
I didn't say it would break it. That to show the impact of the guy's strength.
Oh, but we already know that. I put that out there
Okay.
a long time.
I know, I'm just putting it out there because
Oh no! Hey, look, we said this before. That's why I said literally, without the shield, he'll be carved.
like a turkey on like the chicken he sent out to them. On the
Either which one. Either which one.
I'm telling you, I'm on Cloud here, so I was there on Cloud. Let's continue.
Give me one quick second. That was hit play,
Since
right?
there's no horse and there's no donkey, no pony.
So disrespectful.
I'm gonna be disrespectful.
Serious is bullshit, man. I don't remember him turning into a fairy.
Remember when I said he confused? But yeah.
Oh, no, you don't.
Okay. This is interesting.
Now it's your chance.
Let's mosey, asshole. Nothing to it.
Now, okay. Yeah, I say Link will win this battle.
I'm gonna
just
say this one
saying it.
more time, ladies and gentlemen. Notice one thing and one pre-caveat. Link did not have his shield. Again, this is the only small pre-caveat of this whole thing that's shown there. He did not have a shield.
Didn't I Link how to shoot when he was blocking?
Keyword blocking. But again, right when the final blow came in, where was his shield? Not present. Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, it wasn't
And
present. Okay,
that's the main pro caveat. As long as Link does not have his shield, sword to sword combat, he's getting sliced. That's the argument I made earlier.
Yeah,
He's getting
he does have a
sliced.
good point there.
But with his shield, no, he is surviving long terms.
so now to I know y'all gonna like me when I do this. He didn't come with his horse and pony or donkey, whatever you want to call it. Pun intended. I will continue to do that. Yes, he got his magic. He got his shield. He duplicated himself. You need four of you to beat one. Really?
Hey,
You bombed it. You bombed clouds. You all type of shenanigans. That wasn't enough, right?
he gave the same shenanigans. What you talking about?
I call it shenanigans. Now
No,
you
I said
might.
he gave the same shenanigans. What you talking about?
Okay, but let's be real here. This is why I talk about swordsmanship and skill set. That guy is a soldier. Self-taught versus. 'Cause remember, we had this argument concerning John Wick, Punisher. This is almost similar in the sense of Cloud versus Link. Self-taught versus military.
It's a lot of different factors. Now you only have that self-taught versus military, magic versus magic. Two different kind of magic we're talking about.
And
One magic is
No, I
more.
mean, well, let's get one thing clear. Most of their magic were similar.
Whoa, one at a time, guys. Go ahead, Wally.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm saying some of their magic was similar, especially amongst the elementals.
Mhm.
Take those away, there were some things that were slightly different. Of course, as you can see, Link could multitaskly show more of himself, while Cloud on the other hand, not so much. But again, like these are just far in betweens. I mean, let's be honest, he wasn't gonna get rid of those clones without actually opening that portal the way he did. So let's just keep that shit straight now. So I mean, that's just the funny part about it. So that's all, and that's the funny part. You actually withered away part of his magic of his clones because the clones were magic. So that's the funny part of that. Even then, it's like he had to wither away his magical abilities or magical tools just to make it a cleaner fight for him to even go at it from that standpoint. Which, funny enough, again, this is why I also pertain. I think if you actually go back and look at that video, part of one of those clones probably had the shield, which is why it got took the way it did. Because again, if it was there, he would keep surviving.
And here's the thing, I here's the thing. On paper, it looked like Link would have win the battle. It did. But when you put it in simulation, this is why I say sometimes if we can start this our own show where we can do simulation just like Death Battle and put counter upon counter on gain or cover cut. When you put in the data and run the simulation, you get something like that.
All right, Eric. Now I gotta call you shit when it have to be. We're not talking
Oh,
about players. We're talking about if they're actual real characters in real life. So
No, I think what
promotion
Eric's
has
is talking
nothing to do
about
with it.
is no, I think what Eric's talking about is granted the video showed what it showed, but the problem is were those actually players playing it or was that a simulation, however? So because of course those can be different caveats. Because
it's
again,
a
of course, let's
simulation.
be real. A player,
I'm sorry to cut you off, Wally, but the person, Death Battles YouTube channel, that guy might be more favoritism to Link already or Cloud.
I mean, hey, look, I'm and pick and choose. I mean, I don't. There's like I said, there's multiple different arguments like of everything. Like all I'm saying is when you think about it, like okay, for instance, these battles again. I'm not saying what happened wasn't fair because it was fair. I mean, again, these were very fair scenarios. These were very fair scenarios, especially when it happened in the right timing, in the right playbook, everything. It happened in the
shield.
So
And I'm glad you mentioned that because here's what I'm trying to point out. We can always speak on the lineup or the ability or the skill set whatsoever. We have seen on the side of the YouTube stream when they did similarity of different battles. We had the clay death battle that they do back then among celebrities that were comical. Then it got to the point where people were really comparing character with the character, either from comic book to anime, from anime to game, from game to whatever. This one, I bet you, they would a long term argument since the 90s to the gaming of
Probably.
because mind you, both characters are Super Smash Bros. Let be frank there. Eric, you got a point in that to do the best of seven. But here's the thing: if you can get the best gamer on Super Smash Bros. Who know how to use Link versus know how to use Cloud and do the best of seven, what would output would it be like?
Or here's a better
That's the
question for
question.
you guys: if both of them have time to prep, train, and do, they knew they're gonna fight Link, they knew they were gonna fight Cloud, and Cloud knew he was gonna fight Link. The Link, the Avenger, or Cloud, the Soldier. Who
I
do you think had?
mean, the
Yeah.
video pretty much showed that they had prep. I, the way
Hmm.
I look like to me, I mean, this is my thing, right? Because let me put this in my terms of just finishing off the argument as far as this. We already went into swordsman powers and abilities. I mean, we sort of went into that. Yes, we sort of went into that. Here's the clear caveat here. Well, actually, I didn't make a striking argument, but okay, we're talking about like in the sense of strength, right? In powers and abilities, in the sense of
Hmm.
strength. This wait a minute. Yeah, this would actually give a slight advantage. Well, I'm saying a slight, but because this is what it's saying. This is what the research is saying based on what I picked up. They would
Hmm.
sort of give the slight advantage to Link for certain pre-caveats that I'm not going to just overread. Just know that they gave this. If you want me to, I'll send you an email. I'll show you what the advantages were and what they gave that. That's on this. But when it comes to Cloud and his mana system, he would get that upper strength on power abilities. And then Edge, you would say between both of those amongst power and abilities, overall, they would give that to Link. Even though they still would give a slight nod to Cloud's thing, but Link would just get the overall per se. Right. And then, of course, if you just look at it from just a standpoint of, let's just look at it from defense, versatility, and then swords, and then endurance. Okay, well, defense, they sort of gave it a link because, of course, the shield. And that's pretty obvious. I don't think so. You really can't do that with anything else. That's a non fighting argument. That's a non fighting argument to me. Versatility and strategy, again, Link gets that just because of who he is as a stylist. I really can't really shake that too much.
Hmm.
Of course, then you have to think about this in the sense of this argument. Link's sword, the Master Sword, what is the purpose behind that sword? It's to deal with combating evil. And if you notice, Cloud's connection to Junova, which is an extraterrestrial life form that is malevolent with intentions, so that would be a helping factor for Link based upon his sword ability, as
I give you
far as
that.
just be able
Give
to
you that
harm
point.
him. And then of course Link with his endurance, right? But the funny thing is these are just like the some pre caveats that give him a nice little advantage over him for this argument, which is why I said Link would win. But doesn't mean that this does not have a chance. That doesn't mean that Cloud does not have a chance to win in a fight against him. Again, just like how the video showed, this is all based upon certain moments and certain hit points of just being technical. Because in that video you had to be very technical and hitting right moments. Because the moment Cloud hit that absorption portal and literally sucked in all the clones of Link. Again, if you just go back and go look just to make sure, if his Cloud was sucked in there, you're pretty much screwed at that point. Because now it's just swordsman to swordsman, and yeah, you're getting fucked.
And this is why I'm talking about simulation because remember, if you're in the military and you have been in multiple battles, you'll learn to adapt in every environment. That is been known for people who have military training, who got combat skills based on experience. Cloud got that. He had to learn how to adapt to the situation. That's coming from training. You know, when you train the human body to be like a weapon, it reacted is very different than someone who was self-taught. So in the video, Link had the upper hand with a lot of arsenal left and right, but Cloud adaptability made it easier for him to counter it. Now it kind of ingenious for him to pull that portal, aka black hole, to suck that in, because that one showed that would annoy him. He had to pull out extra two swords to combine that one just to come back four clones. He realized, okay, you know what? This is getting really out of hand right now. I thought I'll fight one person. I gotta fight four of you. Oh yeah, like come on. I need to get extra sword in my hand. And you know that he was guarded with the extra two sword that he joined into one. So the type of skill set to fight in a way whereby you're not having a shield, using your sword in multiple range and guarding yourself at the same time. That's extreme skill set right there. That's a lot of experience. Like you can't be out in the field and not be battle tested. Like let's be honest, we watch a lot of movies when people have to go into war. If you're not battle ready, you come to war. When you come to in a skimmage, you don't know how to adapt to the situation to make sure you survive. You cool, right or
That's
wrong.
the thing, though. But then that's also another thing to this battle is also based on style, because again, Link, his main style is a swordsman with a shield. Without that, you're pretty much screwed. Put it like this, right? Think of it like to your testament, right? Think of it like Spartacus,
Hmm.
right? Both of it, like Spartacus and Christus, both had like sword and shield, right? And they level set themselves up from that. That's where everyone naturally starts. Other people were different weaponries, but they have certain different defenses, give or take, depending on those weaponries with offense as well, right? And in most cases, right, this is how you have to do it. Now, granted, when Spartacus leveled up, he said, "Screw the shield." What he did what the beast that he slain did, and went double swords. But why? All right, but that's the thing though too. It's like there has to be another thing. But my thing is when you're so gravitated to knowing a particular style, of course you're locked into that style. And that's the thing with Link. He's locked into that style, which is why I said
Hmm.
when the portal came into play because of his clones, I'm like, that was the saving grace for Cloud because at that point it's like one. I'm saying again, if you literally sucked in the shield with the other swords and everything, all the other clones and the magic that came with that, yeah, it's a saving grace for you. But if that didn't happen the way it did, I'm still gonna sit here and say how you gonna kill him with that shield still intact.
Now look at what Eric said.
I'm not even reading that. Don't you dare.
So you trying to watch us see Cloud get ran over by a bunch of chickens?
He would just crack open the portal again and just suck the chickens. What are we talking about here? I'm not doing this. I'm doing this for Eric. But yeah, but again, this is all placated on style. This is all placated on positioning of tools and everything else of that nature. Again, these fights can go either way.
And you're right, it could go either way. But looking at how it got played out, it show you that Cloud was on his toes, thinking of scenario how to get himself out of the a bind. Because
Well, yeah, but that's the difference. Yeah, no, but that's the difference. What I'm saying, that's the difference with Cloud. Cloud is more adaptable for the simple fact that you're just a one-handed swordsman with some, with some magic and some other extraterrestrial abilities that helps you out, which leaves him to be a little bit more frugal with it. So the fact that yes, he has raw power and speed, there is some protection based upon certain factor points, but that's all depending on the threat dealing with.
hmm
In this case, again, once Link showed that the potential threat, which created that opportunity. But if he didn't do that, well, this could be a whole different scenario.
And I'm glad you mentioned that one because this is why I'm saying they will also fall back to our last debate that we did that it was really almost one sided about sort of punishing when the fight with John Wick. But I always say experience and skill set speaks a lot. You all know when you're in military will drill you over multiple simulations or multiple skills or multiple drills. They want to make sure that you're almost second nature, third nature, the first nature, whereby when you're out in a field, you know your body knows exactly what to do without you thinking. Let's put that in perspective. Military training does that to the human body. Same thing when it comes to mixed martial art training. Martha, you know this very well. When you train in martial art,
Mhm.
how often they train your body to the point your body supposed to think itself before your brain think?
Oh, it's normal
Meaning,
reactions. It's like walking almost now.
bingo,
Yeah,
bingo.
but yeah, they
No,
teach you
no,
that in
no, no,
everything.
no, bingo. But let me put it out there. This guy was part of the military. The amount of time they drilled into his body on how he supposed to react by in the battlefield is going to time of sweat, blood, and tears. Who knows it can last for 2 years, whereby it's second nature. When you're out in the field, you know how to protect yourself, you know how to keep yourself alive. Because in a battlefield, at war, anything can happen. You got to know how to respond at the very last minute in a situation that you never expected. Right or wrong. But that skill set that Cloud had, I have to say, gave him the edge. Because when you're dealing with all different scenarios in the military, the same thing with war. If the US were to go to war with Iraq, if Japan to go to war with whatever, how you train your military determines how well will they adapt to whatever situation they get put into. Cloud had that edge. It wasn't like he have a whole arsenal of magic accessories like Link had. Link had the upper edge. He was doing the guy dirty. He was pulling all type of tricks up the sleeve to the point that
And
Cloud
chickens
was.
too.
You ever been a chicken? If you keep saying chicken, I can eat chicken for the whole week.
Oh, this is
And the thing is, when Cloud saw the fact that Link went four, he was like, whoa, 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 like, hold up. Like, he blocked them all four with one sword that he had to back up. Like, now hold up. He flipped his sword, got two swords out of there, joined into one. He was like, okay, this is not cool. He had to adapt to that scenario. But when it's four against one, you have to act like you have eye behind your head, right? Like you fighting two in the front, two can come right behind you. So what do you think he was doing the whole time? And he had the ability and the skill set to do that. So he was making sure his body was trained to react when that warning sign kicked. You know how you say the spidey sense? Like like, okay, something is coming in. That's how Cloud was moving. Link is more reactive at the situation. But you can't say Link had the same ex- experience that Cloud had. So you look at the thing how he got played out. Cloud will react. Okay, I need to solve this problem. This four against one goes out of hand. You get it. It had to be something that maybe matters. So he pulled out portal. He's sucking the three other clones. That removed a huge arsenal out of Link. When that happened, he still had a backup plan. He thought we were dead. He came back and got enlarged. Cloud looked at it like, I need to deal with this thing the worst way because remember,
Cluck you. Cluck you. Hey,
you know
David.
what? You know what?
David.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new phrase for a new franchise. Every time making T-shirt that I say "cluck you," you will put it in the chicken going like this.
Ching chang, walla walla bang bang. Ooh ee, ching chang, walla walla bang bang.
Going forward, we get one who do a T-shirt design for us. So we have a chicken that the day I say "cluck you," while it will be throwing it. But
So
Wally, did I,
what
did I
you
make did I
clucking
make
us
it?
now, David?
No, cluck you too.
You know what my comeback to that is?
What? Eric, send more chicken down his way. Hey, I'm just
Anyway,
saying.
keep going, David. You were saying.
But looking at this and not how it got played out, you have to ask yourself the question: does Link have more than enough battle experience to counteract Cloud's military experience?
okay. Well, wait a minute. Pause right there. Because while you're making these statements, I had to do some research.
Uh
So, who do
oh.
you think became a soldier before one of these two? Well, in this case, Link technically would be a hero, but yeah, hero slash champion. But Who do you think became a soldier before each other?
Cloud.
Cloud.
Really?
I'm sorry, Link. I missed that Link. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm about to say. I'm about to hit you with a newsflash. Link was actually a soldier way before him, as a
Oh,
child.
okay.
Now, this one states 10 years old. Other sources can say 9 or 12. It don't really matter either which one of those three ages or in between are still early before Cloud.
Now
And funny
when
enough, I'll even go further. Cloud never became a soldier. He actually is an infantryman. He failed recruitment to become a soldier, but he took
Shit.
soldier level
Soldier.
missions. That was the difference.
Mm.
Yeah, a little newsflash right there. Who is really that guy? And let's be. I also put up a more bigger feat. This kid, what we call Link, he pulled this sword at a young age. Who does that shit? You have to have some decent strength to pull out a sword. I mean,
Interesting.
just
I didn't
saying.
know about that.
I thought he was supposed to be the selected one. That's why he was able to pull it out.
I mean, well, of course, I
Actually,
don't know the age, but when you think about a sword like this, you would think it has some decent purpose of some strength and pull, like you really
AKA
want to fight something.
Excalibur.
There's
Something
Not
no
the
like,
chosen
yeah,
one.
pretty
like
much,
an
pretty
author.
much.
I say, the only difference, the same bullshit. That's this tomato. You're saying to me now, David.
But somehow, okay, he failed recruitment. He was an infantry, but yet he take a lot of crazy ass battles. So it's safe to say his battle experience help him out.
Say it again.
If it's safe to say that Cloud battle experience help him out.
Well, again, that's a pick and choose because again, Link became a soldier at a young age. Now,
And
depending on that, well, again, based upon different stories, he was different ages. So, from a grouping standpoint of 9 at the earliest, all the way to 17, because again, these are based upon different story timings. He was at these ages when he joined. So, granted, yes, you can say depending on different stories, you can say Cloud was a better soldier than Link based upon those timing of ages of what he would be considered. But
mhm.
in others, Link was slightly better just because of early access of getting out there.
Now that's a good perspective. I didn't even think about that. Now that makes things a little bit different. So kind of like saying, if you would have run multiple simulations, it could be the best of seven. Maybe the different
Well,
situation would
yeah.
have happened.
I mean, look, if we're looking at it from just a standpoint of rank, I mean, I don't think so. Rank really matters here because again, even as an infantryman, you're taking soldier missions. I mean, that's still a nice feat, regardless.
But
That's like pretty much like Naruto. Like, okay, Naruto, you're still a tuning, but you're still taking some big high missions that are out of your class, quote unquote.
I'm glad you put it in that perspective because either way, Naruto with the tuning, he gets thrown out in places whereby chance of survival is kind of like low.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these are pretty much really different. So that's what I'm like. I think that you just have to pay more to the style because again, the training is not always quote unquote what you can do. It's like what they're incorporating you to
I'll put it
follow.
this way, Wally.
So
Me and David can train two different dojos. He can train for, let's say, 18 hours, 20 hours a week, and I can train for 40 hours a week. It won't make a difference in the day if I cannot actually use my training in real combat situations.
That is true.
Go
okay,
ahead,
I'll
go ahead.
hit you with a different one. I hit you with a
Go
different
for it.
one.
I like to hear it.
We can go. We can both go to school for tech, right? But here's the difference. You went to a college slash university. I went to getting a what's that word called?
Trade school,
AR
No, not trade, not trade.
boot camp,
verification.
boot
Yeah,
camp.
let's go with boot camp. Let's go with boot camp. And the thing is, I got out there faster. I got my certificate faster than you, and I'm actually making more money than you. And I'm really a top class of my whole flute. Where you took longer and just to be where you at, and we're looking at each other like, wait a minute. I did all this slightly in debt, and you did all this, and you're out, and you did less work than I did. How does work? Pretty much like this. That's how I look at it.
No, that debate right there. We'll have another show about that because the direction of schooling that's always been a play.
That's for
I'm
the
glad you
Tuesday
mentioned that
show.
thing because that's for another show. But what you're
Well,
saying is
yeah,
totally
but
correct
we all
because
know, but we all understand where that comes from. That's just more so us, yanking your chain and making money. Who cares? And that's why society is full of shit because they say they want this, but reality they don't. But
Yeah, that's a
I'll
show.
leave
That's
that
for
alone.
a Tuesday show. But anyway, but the training, like I said, training you can put as many hours you want in training, or as less hours you want to put in. But if you can't really use it in real combat situation, what's the point of it?
I mean, they always say this is also another pre-caveat, right? You can always train for the fight. It's what you do in the fight that gets you really ready, right? Because everyone can throw a punch, but we always know what ends up happening when you actually get into a fight.
Good point.
So it's big different caveats. But again, I mean, look, there's so much things that goes missed to this. I mean, styles go into this. You got one with a sword and a shield. You got one that's straight up sword. There's just different caveats for everything. So
and you're right, you're totally right because like I said, I've watched so many swordmanship battles, people who never use sword, and they have it. I hate to say bad because sword is mostly an offense, more weapon, but usually as defense, it's almost like saying your level of awareness had to be high.
okay. So let me put it to you like this, right? Let me go back to my Spartacus analysis. When he had the double shield, double sword, Spartacus actually had offense and defense. Why? Because having two swords, knowing I can make it into an X, can defend your one sword from trying to cut me down in the right timing.
Hmm.
Two, because of the simple fact too, what makes it even perfect to have double swords is if I'm more mobile, which Spartacus was, I can move at an agility where I can eventually pick myself up, cut you down, and beat you up every single time. So it adds a lot of more flexibility. So again, this all pertains to the type of character, the body build, everything else that goes along with it. This is what makes everything different.
Fact,
So, and again, you can even see
fact.
it in the simulation of the video within the death battle. You can just tell which characters were actually bigger. Like Cloud is bigger than Link.
He
So
was like
you know,
he
But they're
was
bigger. He's bigger, but
he
not too much either.
no he
no,
was lean
technically in
muscle, but
size, he's actually a little bit more bigger in size. Like, and granted, like
he
height
was a bigger
wise, they're
taller.
right there in height wise. But I'm saying in body mass, he's actually more. Cloud is actually more bigger.
But one thing I realized
Yeah,
about all these characters we've been talking about lately, they're not humongous
Well, yeah,
like a He-Man build or a
right.
Rhino.
we're not doing we're not doing He-Man North Fit on the North Star like
No,
stuff.
no.
Okay,
Hear me out, David. Is that their physiques, at least in Japanese or gaming characters, are very slimmed down. I realized.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
because you also got to think about it too. That also pertains to like certain different things. 'Cause, like again, you can be someone in calisthenics. Doesn't mean you have to be extremely big, right? Calisthenics is a whole
there you
different
go.
image of strength. So
Sure.
that's a whole different visual. So that can give you something
And
different.
and a lot of bodybuilders are now learning that already because they're bringing people who not only smaller than they are based on their size, but lifting even the same amount of weight or more than what they lift. Remember, strength is different from muscle.
Right.
There have been a dilemma in the United States where people think the bigger muscle you have, the more strength you have. That's not the
No,
And to
case.
be
that's
honest,
false.
we already know too. Like even like okay, let's flip back to another character. I'll even say Juggernaut in a sense. Juggernaut can have all that muscle, but you don't even got enough speed to really do anything. People can flow you around, move you around every which way, however it goes, just to make this
And
whole fight easy for
sh-
them.
shout out to the old X-Men, that alien that came in and Juggernaut talked like he got his number and he was punching the guy like the guy just looked at him like, "Who are you?" and this bitch slap him to another country. And all the X-Men was like, "Whoever, who have man handled the Juggernaut like that before?" It was like degrading. If you think about it, okay, when Walker Link doesn't count, he was like, really, oh
This guy,
god,
I
oh
want to hear this
god.
shit.
You know what? I would say one thing. Eric kind of has a good point on something. So you had the original Zelda games. They weren't a great graphical. Let's be honest here.
Most of them never were.
64 was pretty graphical for the time. It still
I
kind of
mean, it
wanted that
probably had to
64
be
pace.
because it was on TV, but Other than that, most of them never that much.
The 64 according to time, they counted as one of the best games that ever came out. Yeah, give it credit for something. Then you had this Paper Mario Link version came out for a while. I hate that version so fucking bad.
Yeah, that's for the kids. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. But the one that came with really good credit is they always start him as a child. Then they, fast forward, he's an adult always. Except they start breaking that trend in Twilight Princess when he's already as an adult when you first you see Link.
Right, and that's why I'm saying, based upon different story angles, this is
Yeah.
why I say his age changes.
I'm not disagreeing one bit. All right, let's get our final thoughts, and I think we're gonna get out of here after that. David, go first.
You're muted. Okay, there you go.
Final thought. Sorry about that. I forgot it not do it up. Team Cloud. I'm going to forever be Team Cloud to the day I die. I know that may sound biased, but I do believe Link do have an edge based on what information being given over Cloud. But it seems like Cloud must have learned how to adapt to the situation. And one this particular battle, I believe we need to have a battle of seven to see how it play out properly in different scenarios, different pacing, and see how that plays. But other than that, this is a great debate, great argument. But from that video, I didn't see no horse. I didn't see no
He needs to
donkey.
stop with the dang
I don't see no
horse
pony.
argument. God damn it.
No, I wouldn't use that as my argument. Yeah, I'm a bear. Yeah, I'm a bear. And what? You brought a horse to the motorcycle argument. So he didn't bring the horse. He didn't bring the donkey.
Oh,
He
like
didn't bring
anyone
the
was
pony.
gonna know
He
that
brought
that
a dirt bike.
scenario was gonna pop in. Just stop.
He bought a dirt bike, ladies and gentlemen. See that? Everybody
Oh
talking about,
Lord, have
this
mercy.
horse did, this horse that. But what he did, he bought a dirt bike
Whatever.
to a chopper fight.
This guy. Always talk about this.
I don't care. We go bump heads. We go
This guy.
go down in
This
left
guy.
or right. I
Shame.
don't really
Shame
care.
on this one. Shame.
Hey, I'll be shameful. I like it like
So
that. On that note, it is what it is. That is my final thought. Team Cloud all the way. Yeah, no donkey.
he's
No
Team
donkey.
Cloud only
No
because
horse.
of. Okay, I'm actually gonna let him talk. That's not my sound effect. I don't know what the hell he's doing with that one. I really don't care. Closing statements, ladies and gentlemen. So, look, like I said,
Yeah, talk.
silence you. So, like I said before, when I made my early statement, if this was strictly on swordsmanship, I still made the statement what it was, and it goes to Cloud. That's just the honest truth. And the simulation did show that if it was strictly swordsmanship, Cloud would win. That's the truth. But that's the problem. If you're talking about everything without disappearing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to say it. For all you Cloud fans, I know you love them. But again, more utility, more viability, more everything. You got to give it a link. If you like it or you don't. Boo. Cry to your mama. Don't care. Don't care. Yeah. Keep making the horse sounds all you want to. It ain't going to change nothing I say. It really ain't. Just not. Look, at the end of the damn day, these are about styles. Definitely for sure. Hands down, no matter what, it is what it is. It really can go either which way. It's really 50-50, right? As we can see. It's really 50-50. It can go either which way. But again, to everything that is available without disappearing, without being disabled, and anything else. Supposedly enough. Keyword, supposedly enough. Cloud is banked out. For the simple fact of there's not enough of a long-range game plan that he has. Now, granted, again, they do have powers. Both of them have elemental powers that they can use. But someone was able to do a little something that another person couldn't. But then again, someone was able to do something that another person couldn't. And it looked like they both had a little type of time manipulation. So no matter what, this was definitely a true skill for skill fight, but leaving out on a tiebreaker of elemental powers, leaving out just some nuance of time manipulation and everything else of that nature, just sticking straightforward to just the main two pro caveats of the sword and shield, or just anything that is a little bit stationary. Hey, as long as that sword is in Link's hand, Cloud, you got a long day ahead of you, bro. You got a long day. That's my final thoughts.
All right, guys. I'm still with my original statement. I'm Cloud. I am Team Cloud Link all the way. Cloud is good. Shut the fuck up over there. You know what? Here you go, David.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
I think Link, David, I will mute you. Link has the upper edge. That's my personal opinion. Let's go with a quick schedule. Tomorrow night in the Guerrera, should your employee be allowed to monitor your social media? Oh, this is gonna be an interesting conversation.
Wait, he said, should your relationship partner be able to monitor your
No,
social
your
media?
employer.
The
Oh!
employer. That's maybe a no. That was a political issue because it's almost like you're invading people's privacy. It was a big deal. That topic right
So
there, it was a big deal.
some companies make you sign a waiver. I'm that serious. Sign your waiver saying they will monitor your social media. The hospital is one of them because of HIPAA laws and stuff like that.
Mm.
And that makes sense to me, to be honest with you. But companies that I work for is nothing HIPAA law related. They should not be have the right to monitor myself. If that makes sense.
I mean, I say it like this, just to throw it out there, even though I'm not touching the argument. I mean, if you got nothing to worry about, go let at it, because I ain't got nothing to worry about. Rather be on social media to care. Don't say nothing crazy, anyways.
So that's tomorrow night, guys. Monday we're taking the night off. Then we're back Tuesday with. Let me scroll up here. Here we go. With 1 day or 1 day or 1 day. No, I mean 1 day or day one. The grind of building a success. I know. I should have thought that better when I thought about it.
I swear I thought it was you said the build of greatness the last time I checked.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And David, you want to go over your show? Or Wally, the one I don't care who doesn't go over it.
It's both of us, so let me see.
Saint Seiya's.
Seiya, well, I think we'll do the introduction to the franchise for what it is before we start doing this series because, like I said, this is a iconic franchise. I go way, way, way back. So I believe it will be more like an introduction topic of that particular franchise before we start breaking down.
That is too long to review.
I'm not reviewing every single series, but I'll give an introduction to everything by the characters who are going to play it, both the protagonist and what on the other side of the thing, and why there were so many reboots to it, what was the reason behind it. They will look into the producer of it and see why he take that direction or what really happened. Because on our last show, we realized a lot of these writers that are coming down, they got some health issues. Like, we'll talk. Every one of them who cannot complete their projects, something's wrong with their health. We had Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama, whereby he
Mhm.
couldn't complete his project how he wanted to do because he got shit on with the company he was working under, Toy Animation. You got Hunter x Hunter, which that man was sick for so. I didn't even realize the man was sick for so long. The guy passed away. Now they will have his portrait to take over, right? Broken Blade was the same way too. So as you look at it come to that, I'm wondering what is going on. But Take there got some weird reboot sequence, which is not making sense because some of the project was not complete. If you are a fan of it. The
All right,
old school one was complete, but the reboot, you were questioning what was going on. Like, what was the idea behind it?
David, save it for the show.
No problem.
You doing? You sometimes less is better. Just keep that in mind.
I just give you a summary. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. I still don't have polls and coaches list. They're slacking this
To
week.
be
So
announced.
yeah, I'm gonna come get them their asses whipped in a little bit. And next week we will be talking about. Ooh, that's a good one. Is when a show has too many seasons.
Hmm?
When shows have too many seasons.
Yeah,
What?
you never heard of that? Like you never heard a show has too many seasons.
No, I know. No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, that's what
There's a
you're
lot of
talking about.
shows that got too many seasons.
Yeah.
Let's show shot at the mom and no, not mom and pop. The mom soap opera that had way too many seasons back the day you were a kid, and it's still going on to this day. Like at the world.
I think anything over 8 seasons too much. Some of that. I'm gonna leave it to that, and we're gonna move on. No conversation.
Really,
Um,
aka General Hospital. One like to live.
anything over
At
8
the
seasons
world
too much.
turn.
Anything
Now,
over 8
Grey
seasons too much.
and Grey Anatomy.
Again, anything over 8 seasons is too much, David. I'm not gonna change my opinion about it. I've been saying this for years. If you go over 8 seasons, you'll be canceled.
They didn't get canceled. They kept
should've.
going.
And guess what?
And
The only reason is because it's stupid people watching the same show with the same story over and over and over and over and over. You're gonna bring a story from season 1 back to season 10, and they repeat it over, like Criminal Minds. Now they have changed that show for years.
Yeah, but see, with Criminal Minds, that's actually fair though, because you're dealing with crimes, and crimes are never like straightforward.
Bingo.
I'll give you that. But it should be canceled season 8 still. After 8, it should be done.
Nah, I can't agree with that. I mean, look, I think
My
certain
personal opinion.
series do gotta end, but some, if as long as it's still like relevancy, like if you're doing it right, then it's like can't be mad at that. Because
I have
again,
not
going
seen the show
okay,
yet.
watch this. If I were to if you were to tell me again, like I usually think, right? Comic books should be TV series. That's never dying. That's never dying.
Like, comic books
As
get
long as they do
rebooted
it
all
right,
the
that's
time.
never dying.
Even in the comic books, they repeat the story after a while too.
No, not really. But that's what I'm saying. Cause like it all depends on which one you're taking. Because again, from a standpoint of okay, if you're talking about like the Green Arrow and the Flash, that's sort of like a tangent of just collaborating. But even then, it's not really the same tidbit stories. I mean, granted, if you're talking about like facing the villains again, and then how it all transpired one way or another. But usually,
as I know, I'm going to be a hater for saying this. I'm glad Arrow ended when it did because it hit. It was done after that point.
the problem is though, the only reason but why it was done because they didn't add no other heroes, and then they were not making no other TV series. That's the problem.
Here's the problem. They would have created direction issue because for one, Arrow was in sync with the Flash, was also in sync with Supergirl, was also in sync with
Superman, or
Black Lightning.
No, wait.
No, they would have collaborated with Black Lightning.
Before we get too deep in this conversation, let's hold it for next week, guys. Because we're gonna get really deep into it. I know it. All right, guys. Except that, as always, this was SP2. Yeah, I'm gonna try this again for a second time. This was Spartan SQ Network. I am the Spartan. He is Black David. He's Wally. Stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Clock you.